this week interview with Stadhart, attacking coach.
Yeah.
So we can blame him if we don't score loads of goals. Che, I've got you down as age 45?
44.
44, or not quite 45, another few weeks.
Another few weeks, yeah.
And that you're born in Redbridge.
Yeah.
Who do you support?
I call myself a follower. I follow West Ham.
Yeah.
I also have massive support because playing so much when I was younger, I didn't go to many games, so
Right.
it's kind of hard to call myself a supporter. Don't go to so many games, but I suppose I follow West Ham.
Yeah.
Results.
Okay. What's your full-time job?
I run a business selling the spare parts for the black taxis, London black cabs.
So that's going to be non-stop, isn't it?
Yeah.
Something people never go without. Okay, now looking at your football career, I've got you started in 96-7 at Leighton Pennant.
Yeah.
Also, correct me if any of these are wrong, Stevenage, Charlton St Peter, Hampton and Richmond, Gravesend and Northleet, Welling, Thurrock, Manford Way, Leighton, Concord, Harlow, Whiteleaf and Margate.
Sounds kind of right. Sounds a lot more teams than I remember it ever being.
A journeyman striker. So, were you always a striker throughout your
Yeah, from when I played adult football. When I was younger, I played sort of midfield, but when I played like men's football, always been a forward striker.
Okay, what sort of forward were you? The back to goal big man, or were you more?
I started as the guy who runs in behind.
Yeah.
So I was quick when I was younger. I started as that forward who'd run in behind and get onto chances and run the channels. And as the career developed and I got slower, I developed my game and adapted, and I became the sort of front up man holding up, that sort of thing. So I played both roles. So.
Right. I know that about changing your role. I was centre forward and we were back to centre back by the time. Where were you most successful as far as scoring goals goes?
That would have probably been at Gravesend and Northleet.
Yeah, how long were you there?
I was there 2.5 or 3 seasons,
Right.
roughly. I was in the side that won promotion. What was then would have been the Ryman Premier up into the conference.
Yeah.
So I played in that side there.
And who would you say was the biggest club you played with? Stevenage at the time, was it?
I think I was on the bench for them one game in the FA Cup.
Yeah.
So they're all some big sides there in terms of what Ebbsfleet now.
Yeah.
And both Margate. They were both big sides as well.
Do you ever play with or against any names that have gone on to play in higher echelons of non-league or in Football League?
I played alongside Thurrock. I played alongside Wes Thomas.
Yeah.
Who's gone on to play. Matt Payne, who played here.
On Matt, yeah. He's very popular here.
Yeah, we've played alongside him at Thurrock. So I think there's a few boys that have gone on. Yeah. It's been so long ago now, I can't remember them all, but there's been quite a few players that have gone on to play at a high level.
Now, when you were at Thurrock, you were there under former Iron Boss Hakan Hayretin.
Yes.
Much loved and loathed by
in
equal quantities by Braintree fans.
I've got a lot of time for Hack.
What was it like playing for him?
No, it was good. I've got a lot of time for Hack. I mean, we had a very young. When I was there, we had a very young team. As I said, we had a lot of good players that actually went on to go and play. I think Rob Swain was in the team.
Yeah.
Kenny Clark, Matt Payne, Phil Anderson.
Yeah, I'm not sure that one.
And we had some other good players, but they were all very young at the time. And then and then I had myself, who was slightly older. Dave Bryant play here?
I don't know. I've got to go back like 9 years.
You know Dave Bryant, yeah, he was here as well. I'm sure he was here as well. So it was a very young side under Hack, but we did okay. We did okay because the side was young. Only about 3 experienced players in it, but a lot of players that obviously were given a good ground in there because they went on to have very good careers at this sort of level and slightly higher.
Yeah, I mean, I saw Hakan play. I used to watch Barnet, and I've actually score a goal with Barnet as well, which is something he wasn't very good at. What difference in style between him and where he played and Ryan, would you say?
It's what style of play?
Or methods, how is his methodology different?
I think the game was we're going back a while now, so we're going back 10 plus years. I think just in general the game has changed. Yeah. I think you tend to find a lot less teams, so we always played with 2 up at Thurrock. Yeah. I think we tend to find that less now. Yeah, I think even then most teams, it was coming to the end of most teams playing 2 up front, and now you tend to see it's either a 3 or 1.
Yeah.
It tends to be now. So the game has changed. I think that's where it's changed. The whole game has changed. So within that, I think there's you know, you adapt your game to how it is at the time being played.
That's right. Okay. Who was the best manager you played for and why?
Good question.
What people got the best out of you?
I probably played my best football at Gravesend and Northleigh. That would be under Andy Ford.
Yeah.
Who would always say, we got an okay, but he sounds a bit of a pain as a youngster, which I was. Other than that, the best, funny enough, I spent a bit of time towards the end of my career at Concord. I played under other good managers as well, throughout the times at different levels. But I remember I went to Concord, I was near the end of finishing. I wasn't near the end, wasn't going to play much anymore. And I went down there and I was kind of just in the squad more than anything. And I played under Danny Cowley.
All right.
But more, I didn't play much, I just trained.
Yeah.
But funny enough, I noticed something within him, just the way he was and stuff. You could see there was something there.
Yeah.
And I always thought, how has he brought, when I played, Canby with a big team on that island, and Concord with just this. But it created, along with Danny Scopes as well, it created a sort of an atmosphere or something there.
Yeah.
You couldn't touch, but you could feel something was happening there. And credit to him, he's gone on to have a very successful
He did that when he was here. I mean, he did a fans evening pre-season with Danny, and he just thought, this guy knows what he's talking about. We're going to be successful. Yeah. And it was one season, but what a season it was.
Yeah, he did very well.
Not so much a good time with Mr. Pennant though at Welling. I found the newspaper headline which he was calling you not very complimentary names.
When I wanted to leave, when I left, that was when I left. Funny enough, it's an interesting situation that I had a few things going on outside of football at the time as well, and I felt I'd been playing that sort of right side of the field, and I felt could still be a striker. Yeah. And I had a few other things going on outside, and a few weren't happy about that. It wasn't genuinely just football; it was just in general, and I just needed to change. And I wanted to leave, and when I left, I always have a thing that you do things, but you do them the right way. I wanted to go, but I didn't leave. I was told, whatever he said, that's it's not how it, in my opinion, it's not how it was. I left, and I didn't actually leave the club to go to. I ended up signing for Thurrock, but I hadn't spoken to anyone when I left. Right. I was just in a spot where I wasn't enjoying my football. And a few other things outside my life weren't going how I wanted, but my football's what I loved to enjoy, and I really wasn't enjoying my football. Right. And I needed to get away and have a clean break from certain things. Yeah. And that was it, and I think he maybe took it in the wrong way, but I've engineered a move. I didn't. The day I left, I had no club to go and sign for. Right. I know I needed to step out to do something different.
Okay, that's right. What gives you the most satisfaction in your coaching role?
What gives me the most satisfaction? I think when you see things that you maybe we've worked on with players, or you try to implement and they're taken on board, and you see it carried out to effect, that's always good. And just seeing the player improve. I like to see players, and maybe that we have a discussion, could you do this, could you do that, and they think about it, and then they go away and implement it to their game. And sometimes you see it get taken on, and when it actually happens in the game, that situation, and they realise, more than me, it's a satisfaction that they've realised, and they understand, oh, this is why we do this. I like to get enjoyment from that.
And did you always want to coach?
To some degree, I think I did. I've always been fascinated by more than just playing myself. I've always had an interest in watching what's going on and understanding why you do this. And why do we do that? And sometimes even as a player, I would question, why are we doing this? Not in a rebellious way, but what is the reason behind what we're doing to understand, you know?
Yeah. Okay. And how did you end up meeting Ryan and come to Braintree? So
funny enough, I actually met Ryan at Thurrock on the Hack.
Right.
So he signed the same time as me roughly, and he lived quite close to me at the time. So we travelled in together. Right. So we ended up travelling together, but he was carrying an injury at the time. I'm not sure, so he never really got to play much due to injury. Yeah. But we became good friends just from travelling in together for a period of time.
Yeah.
And we just stayed in contact ever since.
What was he like as a player? I mean, I get the feeling from the interview I did with him earlier in the season, he was a bit of a tigerish character, a bit close to the edge.
Yes, but that could also play.
Yeah.
That could also play as well, so he could do both sides of the game.
Yeah.
He could do both sides of the game, and maybe his tigerishness probably cost him going in for challenges, maybe where he ended up with a few injuries himself, that obviously maybe didn't end up doing him the best service.
Right, yeah.
But no, he's a good player who could do both, get stuck in, but also play as well.
Have you ever played against Braintree? Can you recall in it?
Yes. Yeah. Played here quite a few times, obviously.
Were you successful or were you on the losing side?
Do you know what? I was thinking about that the other day. Played here for Welling. Played here for Ground. Played here for Grayson and Northleet. And Thurrock, definitely. I don't remember ever being overly successful off the top of my head. I think about that, but I don't remember being overly successful here.
Yeah.
I remember a few sort of drab games here. A couple of 0-0 draws, I think, as well. But not overly successful.
Okay. We touched on this earlier, well you did anyway, about the striker's role, how it's changed, especially in the last 10 years or so. And we made now playing with one striker. Do you think it's made the game more defensive?
It depends how you look at it. You can say it's one striker, you can say it's three. So a lot of teams now play with three. Back before, the team played with a back four and the full backs never went anywhere. Yeah. So the two left back and right back were defenders. Yeah. Now, and if you watch Man City or someone play, the left and right backs, or at times of certain teams, are wingers. Yeah. They're not full backs, they're wingers. Yeah. So, not really. I don't think the game's any more defensive. It's just structure of how team setup has changed. Right. So I wouldn't say the game's any more defensive, because sometimes we have free up. Yeah. Many teams play free up. I mean, you look at someone, again, Man City's Raheem Sterling's a left-sided forward. He's not a left midfielder. No. So if you played 4-4-2, you had a left midfielder and a right midfielder. If they're wingers, they stayed wide. And if they got 10 goals a season, you're happy. Yeah. You've got now inside forwards scoring 25 goals a season. So, for me, no, I think the game probably got more attacking.
Right, that's good. And with your routines and drills in training, what are you looking for when you come out Tuesday and Thursdays?
What are we looking at?
What are you working on? And
obviously, we're just looking at essentially patterns of things that will be effective for us come game day. Yeah. The crosses is maybe we believe in a certain game crosses will be effective for us. There may be another game where we're sliding the ball in. Yeah. Those sort of things. So we'll maybe sessions will be adapted to what we believe will be effective come game day as well.
Yeah, so do you adopt it depending on who you're going to play against? So.
It can be, or maybe we may have seen something today that we think, you know what, we need to do this better. So then it'll be adapted to a certain crossing and finishing session or something like that, which is adaptive to the game that's gone previously.
Now, I've noticed recently, I mean, I support Villa and they've done it, they've signed a set piece coach. Are you responsible for set pieces or?
I have input. I'm not saying I'm responsible, but I have input. Yeah, we're not quite, I don't think we've quite got the budget yet to get a set piece coach as well.
But how many routines can you come up with?
You can come up with limitless, but the difference is full-time football, you have every day of the week to work on them. Yes. Or you could allocate 30 minutes a week. If you've got a Saturday game and a Tuesday game, you've got a Thursday training session, that's it. Yeah. And a Thursday training session, you're not going to spend 45 or 2 hours. You can't spend 45 minutes doing set pieces. No. So at this level, this is more time factor of what you can really get implemented. Yeah. You know? So you can come up with different things, but it depends on how much time you want to allocate to it. And as part-time, you don't quite get as much.
Right. Will we use set pieces to attack the opposition box directly, or will it vary depending on the opposition? Or does it depend where the free kick's being taken from?
Yes, definitely. There's the point of where we have the ball. Yeah. And it can depend on if we believe a team is strong at this or weak at that, then you can adapt accordingly.
Yeah, okay. Just to round up, you're the first person I got to speak to about a game, an actual league game. So, what did you make of today's game overall?
Tough game against a good side.
Yeah.
They'll do well this season. They will do well this season. But I thought we did very well for them when we had 11 men on the pitch.
Yeah.
In terms of, there wasn't much in the game up to that point.
No.
There wasn't a great deal in the game. Or I think to a degree we were not, I would never say comfortable, but we had sort of control in a different way of the game. And I think the sending off very much changed the game. It allowed them to really get on the front foot with that extra man, which they, without really opening us up a lot. I mean, you know, they pressed and pressed and got the equaliser. Whether it's deserved or not, I don't know. I just feel the sending off affected the game. Preston's made a few good saves for us as well, but I just think the sending off has affected the game dramatically today.
I mean, from my point of view, what's today, I thought, I don't know if this was done on purpose, but most of the attacks were down the left. I know Corey's a natural on that left flank, a good crosser, but we had Harry on the right, which looks in the same mode.
No, I think sometimes things come up in the game. It just seems to happen that way, and maybe something was spotted during the game, and the players can see it as well, and it just tended to come down that side, able to get in that side today. So that's, you know, sometimes that's how it is. Another game, we'll go to a game next week, and it could be completely opposite on the other side. And if the players recognise it early, maybe it's something that they've seen as well, or they can feel it early, it will go down the other side.
And lastly, what do you think we can achieve this season?
Good start today, first of all. Got a point on the board.
Very good point.
Last season, I think it took 8 games before the first point was on the board, so we started a positive result to get our first point on the board. I think it's the oldest cliche, it's taking every game as it goes, as it comes, but I think we will find ourselves being competitive in every game, and I think that's where you start from. You make yourself competitive in every game, and then we'll put building blocks in from there, and I think we will just get stronger as the season goes on.
Okay.
Where we end up, who knows? A bit of fair luck, a lot of hard work, and a bit of luck. We'll see where we end up.
Brilliant. That's it.
No,
thanks for your time.
Thank you very much.
Okay, cheers.